This video is designed to help you fix the troubled Sony JA3ES mini disc player. I've read online several people complaining about the same issue that I was having, and I really didn't see any solutions until I finally watched another video here on YouTube that was done by someone who spoke Russian. So I went through and I watched the entire video translated, and he goes over several different things that he was fixing on that particular unit. But there were two main things that I think plague this particular unit, and they are super easy to fix. So I'm going to point out what those are, and so you can hopefully bring this model as well as maybe a couple of other of the Sony ES mini disc players back to life. Because my assumption is the transport is probably very similar, if not the same, on several of these models. So hopefully this will help. I'm going to jump right in and kind of point out, I've already opened this tray up, just mainly so that you could see this lever right here, because this is what you're gonna need to release. You don't need to remove this transport, which the video that I previously watched, he removed the entire transport and did this. I didn't find that necessary in the least, so this is a super quick and easy way, but I wanted you to see this lever here because you can't really see it whenever this is closed. So this entire tray slides, so it will be closed and it covers this. So what you'll need to do is stick your pinky underneath here and pull this to release this top tray. So once it's in place, it's actually clicked there, and then when you stick your pinky in there and release it, it will slide open like that. And that right there will unlock all access that you need to completely fix this unit. If it's experiencing the same issues that I was having, which is it would basically try to read the table of contents, fail, and then eject the disc, or the disc would get stuck and then I would have to turn it on its side, and I guess just because of the change in direction, it would finally eject the disc. So there's one little tip or trick that if you turn it on its side, you can sometimes get the disc out. So the culprit was this belt. This is a square belt. Again, not something that he pointed out, but something I figured out once removing the belt. And to kind of troubleshoot it, I actually used a rubber band first. Now, I don't recommend using a rubber band, but I found a rubber band that was slightly smaller than this now stretched out belt. So that's what I used to kind of troubleshoot and figure out what the problem was. But then once I was finished, I went onto Amazon and actually purchased a belt pack. As you can see, it's got several different sizes of belts in there, and I'll definitely be able to find one that is about the same size or slightly smaller is what you're looking for. And then really the only other tool that you need is a Q-tip, because really the disc read error that it gives where it tries to read the table of contents and it ejects is all down to a dirty laser. Now, your laser may be damaged. It may not just be dirt. So this, again, may not solve all problems for this unit, but this is what worked for me. So this is my recommendation. So a couple of things here. So there are two wheels. There's one right here, and then there's a smaller one under here right in front of it. That belt just wraps around those two wheels right there. And then that's the fix for that. And there, you don't have to remove anything else. It's very accessible. You just kind of stick the end of the belt underneath there and then wrap it around here carefully, and you're pretty much done with that. That solves that issue there. And then for over here, it's a little hard to see here, but let me see if I can slide this forward just a little bit. So the laser is actually, you can barely see the white part of it right there. That's the laser right there. Now, my recommendation here is that you be incredibly careful because you don't want to throw that laser off. But essentially what I did was I took a Q-tip and I stuck it inside there, and I just, without any pressure, I just dragged the Q-tip across the laser, and then I turned it and then I dragged it across it again. And those two things fix this unit. Now, you do have to re-engage this piece once you're finished. So you basically hold this lever back into place, and then you use both hands and slide this up. And so it will basically lock back in, and you'll hear it click. But see, right now it's still not engaged. So this needs to be held open and then slide it all the way up until the whole thing locks into place. So once you replace the belt, very carefully wipe the drive wipe the laser, then that should be all you need to do, and then you can put it back together and it should be good to go. So hopefully this helped. Again, I don't expect this to solve all issues with this particular model, but this was a very, very simple fix for me that got this thing back up and running again.